Hi everyone, this is Sara Quill. Thank you for checking out the fourth episode of Therapy is a Drag. Unfortunately, the audio in this video is a little messed up. It was my first time using external recording, and it just didn't turn out the way that I wanted to. The gain is set a little high, so both microphones might be a little rough around the edges, but I hope it doesn't take away from the overall viewing of this episode. Thank you again for checking out Therapy is a Drag.
What do I look at?
I don't know.
you?
We can look
I
at
know.
each other. It's weird.
It'd be more natural if you guys look at each other.
Probably.
The first in-person one, you can't just
Stare out.
So Daja.
Well, hello everyone, and welcome to the first ever in-person episode of Therapy is a Drag. I'm joined by one of my very good friends, Daja. Daja, if you want to introduce yourself, say your name, pronouns, and any other identifiers that you want the audience to know about you.
Okay. Yeah, my name is Daja. I go by she/her. African American woman and very much a Kirby lover.
I love it. I love it. Are you wearing anything Kirby right now?
No, I thought about it. I was going to bring like a Kirby bag and everything, but I didn't want to get questioned on my Kirby loyalty.
Oh, like someone in the comments asking,
right,
like how much you
much
know
of a
about
yes,
Kirby.
because I don't know a whole lot, but I like pink and soft things, so
Me
Kirby
too.
is one of those things.
Would you like an emotional support Labubu?
I would.
Paige,
I would.
would you mind?
I would love that. Pink, please.
Pink, of course. Can I have...
They stay inside because we are too scared to take them out of the house.
No!
May I also have an emotional support Labubu?
Oh, wow.
No, I want this one.
I don't think I've actually seen these before.
They're so cute.
Like being held in hand.
Yeah. Adorable. Adorable. Which one is this? This one's Serenity?
Oh, they have names.
That one's Love.
Oh, cute.
I know that for sure. Alright,
Okay,
he's just gonna sit down here.
Yeah.
Hee 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 hee.
Hee hee hee.
Well, thank you so much for agreeing to do this. And before we dive in, I have to do the little spiel.
Mm-hmm.
Anything you say will be on the internet forever, so don't share anything you're not comfortable disclosing to the entire universe, because maybe an extraterrestrial is watching this, and we just don't know. It doesn't count in the view count on YouTube.
That's okay.
Ben's laughing. Well, let's just jump into the first question. Are you currently in therapy?
Yes, I am in therapy.
Very nice. How long have you been in therapy, like throughout your whole life? It doesn't have to be like a consistent time, but just like cumulative.
I first went to therapy, I want to say freshman year of high school, so probably around like 13 or 14. It was very like awkward time in my life, and I was only kind of in it because my mom wanted me to be in it.
Oh, okay.
And then currently in therapy, I want to say starting December of last year.
Okay, cool.
And
So like
loving it.
6 months with the new therapist?
Yes.
Do you like your current therapist?
I do. She's a little quirky. I mean, okay, not quirky, but like she's a nice therapist. She's a good therapist, but she doesn't really say a whole lot.
Oh, interesting.
So it's mainly like me ranting, me talking about like the things I'm going through, and then kind of like every once in a while, so how did that make you feel, kind of thing. And it's like, it's fine. It's a fine dynamic.
Yeah. Do you wish that she would talk more, or like stimulate the conversation more?
I do. Yeah, I do. I mean, she definitely has moments where she does hold me accountable. There are a lot of moments where I'll bring up like issues I'm having or problems I'm having, and then she'll like ask me, well, did you communicate?
Yeah.
Did you kind of like say this, or did you maybe like not really get your point across this way? So she does a pretty good job in some aspects, but I do wish maybe she would kind of give more of a like professional
Oh,
stance
okay.
on things.
Yeah.
I'm not too versed.
I know what you mean. 'Cause
Yeah.
my last therapist, not my current one, would kind of do the same thing where
Mhm.
she would like, I'd go on a little rant and instead of like reflecting back to me or like
Right.
pulling out the key points, she would kind of just do like a fuck it we ball kind of
Exactly.
thing.
No, right.
And
And it's like,
and I,
okay.
I was always just like, oh, yeah, right. Yeah,
Right.
that's enough. That's all I
Mhm.
needed.
Right.
But I feel like same thing. I kind of wanted a little bit more out of it, so
Mhm.
I understand what you mean.
Mhm.
Um, so with this current therapist, are there any attributes about them that you like particularly admire or enjoy about them?
I do like her friendliness,
Mhm.
kind of like a nurturing aspect that she has.
Mhm.
She doesn't like really ever dive into anything like about herself or
Mhm.
like share too much about like what she's dealing with or anything.
Mhm.
But like on the occasion she'll kind of like let me into um like her like small details about like herself or
Nice.
things like that where it's kind of like nice to, I don't know, feel her out a little bit more, I
Mhm.
guess. I think that she's like a very sweet person, and so sometimes when I'm talking to her, it doesn't really feel like I'm talking to a therapist.
Yeah.
It kind of just feels like I'm talking to like a nice lady,
Good.
or
Yeah.
I wouldn't even say necessarily like a friend, but
Mhm.
like it's still like a sweet conversation with like
Good.
this lady.
Yeah. I mean that's really nice. I think that like having that kind of relationship where there is that boundary where you are able to acknowledge that you're comfortable with this person
Mhm.
and you can share, everything that you need to share with them without it being like uncomfortable or forced for you,
Yes.
and still having like that professional boundary where you
Mhm.
can acknowledge like in an instance like this where you're talking about it where you know that she's not your friend but
Right.
she's friendly and you guys have
Yes.
like that rapport. And I think that that's like exactly the standard that
Right.
should be like
Yes.
implemented in the therapeutic relationship. So that's like seems like you got a perfect kind of
It's a pretty
relationship
good
with her.
dynamic.
Yeah,
No, it
yeah, that's
is. It
awesome.
is.
Are there any attributes, or I know you said she was quirky, quirks that you might not like as much about this current therapist?
I mean, for the most part, she's fine,
Mhm.
very like standard, like she's like a white woman and
Mhm.
things. So there'll be moments where I'll kind of say things where it's a little bit more black specific
Yeah, yeah.
or things that like I've dealt with like as a child or
Mhm.
and I feel like in a lot of moments she doesn't really know how to react or
Yeah.
really what kind of cue to kind of go off of.
Mhm.
And so in moments like that, it can be a little bit awkward.
Yeah, for sure.
But like for the most part, she's like very understanding and
Yeah.
she like listens and
Good.
she'll add her 2 cents. But for the most part,
Yeah.
she's a little silly.
She's a little
She's
silly.
a little silly, and
I
that's
feel
fine.
that brings up a really good point about like cultural matching with therapists,
Yes.
because as a black woman
Mhm.
having a therapist who's a white woman, the lived experience isn't the same, and like
Yeah.
the systemic and societal pressures that you've experienced, or
Mhm.
what you experience every day as a black woman is very different than
Yes.
what she might experience as an older white woman.
Yeah.
So cultural competence is so important, and it sounds like even though there is that difference between your experience and her experience, she's able to kind of keep up a little bit, which is cool.
Yeah. Typically, like, in moments, I'll, like, have to kind of explain, like, if I'm ever
Yeah.
dealing with, like, a situation with, like, my mom or,
Mhm.
like, certain situations with, like, my grandma. And I'm like, well, it's, like, a black thing. So it's
Yeah.
like, and then she's like,
Yeah.
oh, I see, okay.
Yeah.
So she's, like, pretty understanding
Good.
about it. So it's
Yeah.
good.
Do you ever feel like you are like kind of taken out of therapy when you have to explain those things to her, or is it just kind of something that it's like a quick explanation?
It's kind of just a quick
Okay.
explanation. When I was looking for a therapist, I was looking for a black woman to be my therapist, but there really wasn't a lot, like locally, or
Yeah.
like I could have done like an online thing, which is what I am doing with her currently. But like it doesn't really take away from like having to explain or anything. Like there are moments where I wish she would just kind of get it,
Yeah.
but it's fine. It
Yeah.
doesn't bother me too much, especially like I do it at work and I do it like out and about,
Yeah.
and it's something that for some might bother, but like for me, depending, it's not too bad. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, good. Are there any modalities or activities that you've done in therapy that you enjoy more than others, or any like modalities that you've done with therapists that stood out to you?
Um, I haven't really done a whole lot with my current therapist. I would say when I was younger and like when I went to therapy when I was in my teens, I would say we did a lot more like hands-on kind of things, like exercises, because like I dealt with like a lot of like not like I dealt with like a lot of self issues kind of thing. And so we worked on kind of like talking it out. There was a lot of like activities and like exercises and a lot of like, because I was younger, like a lot of random like coloring
Yeah.
or like kind of just random activities that we would do that I really appreciated when I was younger, because it kind of made me come out of my shell a little bit more.
Yeah.
And the therapist I had when I was younger, I forget her name. It was like Mary Lou or something like that. Also another like white woman. And she was really friendly, and she like was really attentive to me because I was not necessarily shy, but it was a little awkward for me to talk about like my feelings or kind
Yeah.
of open up, because I never really did with like family or things like that. And so she kind of did a lot of things that made me feel really comfortable to let her in.
Yeah.
And I would say with my current therapist, I don't really do any of that now, which I would like to.
Yeah.
Like, I think that that would, help me kind of open up more to her and kind of touch on things that maybe we haven't talked about yet. Um, but yeah, not really too much with this therapist.
I feel like adult coloring, like adult coloring books would be
I would
so
love
fun.
that. No,
Yeah.
I would love that. Just
I feel like,
random.
yeah, like if I'm in an activity and I'm not really focused on like the stream of consciousness,
Right.
it's easier for me to like come out with things. That's why I feel like I trauma dump at work so much.
It's hard not to. I mean,
I'm like down
it's a good
stocking
place
products,
to.
and
It's
I'm
a good
like, do you
place to
want to hear
trauma dump.
about the time I was abused?
And it's like,
Yeah. Well, that's good. Do you feel like you could bring that up to your current therapist?
I think I could. She, like I said, she's pretty accepting and very understanding. If I told her, like, hey, can we maybe do this during a session? Or, maybe if I color, you color too. Like,
Yeah.
I think she would be really
Over
down for
the
that,
moon.
probably.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I want to say she's not older. She's not old. But I want to say she's probably in, like, her 30s or
Oh,
40s,
okay.
probably her 40s.
Yeah.
So, like, I think she'd be down.
Yeah. I really wanted to ask my therapist if we could just talk on the phone while I cleaned in my session last week, because I was like,
Yeah.
I really need to clean the house, but I do need to do therapy. Can I do both? And I didn't do it, but I feel like she would have been okay with it.
I think cleaning can sometimes be a form of therapy.
I agree.
Like, especially when you kind of have to and kind of need
Yeah.
to, and then when you get in the groove, it's like,
Yeah.
this is actually pretty nice. And I think having a therapy session during
right?
would be even better.
Yeah. I mean,
Like, really nice.
exactly, because I feel like after a good therapy session, you kind of feel like clean.
Yes.
And like everything's settled, and same thing with cleaning.
Yeah.
Is you get rid of the clutter, you get rid of the dirt and everything, and it does kind of give you that feeling, for sure. Do you have any therapy horror stories?
Oh my goodness.
It's a crazy question.
I don't, luckily.
Good.
I don't. I mean, there was one time in therapy when I was younger, my mom joined.
Oh,
And so like that wasn't that wasn't very pleasant for me. It was kind of more of a horror story for me.
yeah.
Just because it's like, I don't know, I was dealing with issues and then having to
Mm-hmm.
bring my mom in it and then having to confront those issues with my mom
Mm-hmm.
present. It was a little uncomfortable, yeah.
Yeah. I feel that 100% because I don't know, for me when I was younger in a similar situation, it was like I went in there and complained about like angsty teenager
Right.
things, which usually involved talking about things my parents did that I didn't
Yes,
like. So
exactly.
so when my mom came and sat down next to me on the
It's like,
couch, I'm
oh,
like, What does she know?
right.
Like, has she been informed? Has she been
Right.
briefed on what
Like,
I've
have
been
you told
saying?
her some of
Yeah.
the stuff we've talked about?
Yeah, yeah. Why is she here?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, that is a horror story
Yeah.
in its own way because just even though you didn't have a bad experience with the therapist, you had a
Yes.
bad experience during therapy at some
Yes.
point,
Yeah. No.
which is,
It was a little scary.
I bet,
It was a
yeah,
little scary. I was like, oh,
yeah.
what are you doing here?
Yeah, how did you
How
get
did you
here?
get in here?
Who let you in?
Yeah.
Um, well, if there is one thing, or it could be multiple things, that you could tell someone that might be on the fence about seeking help for their mental well-being, or if they're thinking about going to therapy but haven't taken the first step, what would you tell them?
I would tell them it's worth it.
Mm-hmm.
It can be a little weird at first, especially when you're kind of in that stage of getting to know your therapist,
Mm-hmm.
kind of laying it all out there.
Mm-hmm.
Can be a little bit like uncomfortable at first and kind of like, I don't really know,
Mm-hmm.
especially if like your therapist doesn't really give a lot back at first because they're
Yeah.
still kind of like gauging you too.
Yeah.
I think it can be a little weird at first, but eventually, like once you start to open up and you start having like really good conversations,
Mm-hmm.
it can be very worth it, especially for like your mental, like for myself.
Mm-hmm.
Like I knew I needed therapy.
Yeah.
I knew I needed some therapy like really bad. And so for myself, I thought it was a step that I should take for
Yeah.
my own mental, just for myself, for my own happiness,
Mm-hmm.
for not trying to trauma dump like on
Yeah.
others or make like my problems everyone else's problems because
Yeah.
I'm not seeking out help.
Yeah.
And so I took that step and I haven't regretted it.
Good.
I'm
Good.
having a good time.
That's beautiful. I think
Thank
that
thank you, Megan.
we love you,
Love you, Megan.
Megan. I think that brings up a good point too, is that sometimes therapy isn't just for you. It's
Yeah.
it's for people around you because if you're going around every day and
Yeah.
just spewing
Terrible
this,
vibes.
yeah,
Horrible
yeah, even if you're not
vibes.
saying anything to these
Yeah.
people, they can get
You can
the
feel
read,
it.
and
No.
and I think that, obviously you don't owe it to anyone other than yourself, but
Right.
it does help like mediate relationships, and I think
Definitely.
that's something that we might forget
Yeah.
about therapy.
Yeah.
Um,
I wish my mom would do some therapy.
yeah,
Yeah.
just like send her this, send her the video.
Karina.
Um, I feel like I haven't really talked to you about drag. Do you watch Drag Race?
I did a lot. Okay, speaking of my mom, I did a lot with my mom when I was
Oh,
younger. She used to be really into it because she's really big on makeup.
mm-hmm,
She loves a good beat. She loves a
mm-hmm,
good face.
mm-hmm.
And so I would like watch it here and there. I haven't watched it recently, but I
Mm-hmm.
do get a lot on TikTok.
Of
And
course,
I
of
will watch
course.
them through and through on TikTok.
Good.
And so like the last, I don't know seasons right now on,
17
okay,
and All
17.
Stars 10.
Okay. Like the one with Susie Toot.
Yeah,
Susie 2, that's
I
17,
loved,
yeah.
yeah, I loved the looks. Like the looks were really good. And
Susie 2.
On Your Nerve,
On Your Nerve,
On Your
yeah.
Nerve.
What about Lydia Butthole Collins? Lydia B. Collins.
I don't know if I know her. I'm sorry. I don't
She's
know if
she's
I know her.
Paige's favorite.
Okay,
She was on
okay.
season 17 and now she's on All Stars 10, so she didn't even have to leave the workroom.
I feel like if I saw her, I would know.
You probably would,
I
yeah.
like I said, I get a lot on TikTok,
Yeah.
so like,
So who's your favorite drag queen?
oh goodness. I I don't know if I follow it enough to have a favorite.
Okay.
I would say just supporting black people, I would just say Anya
Yes.
Nerve, just
Good,
because
good.
that's
Yeah.
just off the top of my head. But oh, I like I get it on TikTok all the time. Bob?
Bob the drag queen?
Yes, yes, yes.
That's like the best answer so far. I'm not
Right,
even
yeah.
kidding.
Okay.
I do have this theory that Bob the drag queen is just a straight man.
Has this vibe about him.
He's not, but like
That'd be really crazy.
in his season, every time there's like a confessional, I was just like, "Where's the rest of you? What's going on
I
here?"
know something. I
Yeah.
know something's going on here.
I love Bob the drag queen. He's so funny, and his season is pretty funny too.
What season?
It's season
One of the
8.
earlier? Okay.
Season 8?
Mhm.
Yeah.
I'll have to watch.
It's a messy one.
Like really messy?
It's
Kind of,
pretty crazy.
I think a lot of the queens on that season are just bad.
Oh
Yeah.
no. Bad like rude?
Well,
No, like just like their drag isn't that great.
well,
Like, they're all
Kimchi's on.
Yeah, kimchi.
Kimchi, I heard Kimchi is good, right?
Yeah.
Kimchi is good.
Yeah.
I've heard about that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Kimchi, also when Kimchi went on the show, her mom didn't know she did drag.
Oh.
Yeah, so she,
At all?
at all, no idea.
Wow.
She was a makeup artist.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, of sorts.
Yeah, it was
Of
crazy.
sorts, yeah.
Do you have any questions for me about drag therapy or anything else?
Are you in therapy? I think
I
this has
am,
been
yeah.
asked on the show already.
Someone asked what my therapy horror story was, but I am in therapy, yeah.
Okay.
I've been with my therapist for like a month and a half, and before her, I was with another therapist for one session from
Oh.
the same group who was a little out there. She was very
Oh.
into like somatic healing therapy and
Oh.
like weird stuff, and she was wearing like a fishing vest with nothing underneath
Oh.
it during the first session.
Oh.
And like the way that she described her therapy was she said, "I love parts." And I was like, "What?" And she said, "Parts therapy, where like there's different parts of you." And I was like, "Oh, that's not the
I'm
way you should
scared.
describe that."
No,
That's
a
not
little...
at all what I wanted to hear. But
No.
yeah, and then before that, I've had a half dozen therapists.
Okay.
But this new therapist is really cool. She's very nice, and unlike like past therapists, I feel like the 50 minutes runs out really quick.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Well, that sucks, but
Well,
that's
yeah,
nice.
Yeah, it's nice.
Right.
We get a lot done. But yeah, that's
Love a good
my-
therapy app.
That's
Love a good therapy
100%. Yeah, you can yap all you want with your friends and get nowhere, but when you yap with a therapist, you
Right.
get somewhere.
Yeah, exactly.
Most of the
This
time
was
you
a
get
breakthrough.
somewhere. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah.
Because you get something back instead of
Yes.
just like a, "Me too, bro."
Yeah.
Me too.
Oh, yeah. That's when I go. Well.
Well, Daja, thank you so much for being my first in-person guest. I had a lot of fun, and I'm so glad that we got to do this. It was just an amazing experience to sit right next to someone, and your makeup is beautiful. You look beautiful, and I'm so glad that you agreed to do this.
Thank you. Yes, of course. No, thank you for having me. It's been a blast. I love your place.
Thank you.
Boo boo.
Yeah. Boo boo say bye. We say bye. Bye, everybody. Bye. Thank you for watching.